It's a crime that Hollywood has glamorized for ages.
What is all this about, huh?
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 bank robbery movies.
You know, they walk around, they got masks on, they got the things on their heads. There were a bunch of crazy people there.
For this list, we've assembled movies with heroes who outsmart the system and live on the edge. If a bank robbery is a central part of the plot, or if a movie revolves around it, then it could easily steal its way onto the list. Given that some of these bank robberies are the climactic scenes in their respective movies, consider this your spoiler alert.
Thanks.
So, sit back, relax, but don't get any ideas.
I'm ready.
Number 10, Point Break.
On the floor! Move it, move it!
This surfer dude flick from the 90s is headlined by a baby-faced Keanu Reeves, who plays rookie FBI agent Johnny Utah.
I'm actually really glad you found me.
Johnny and his partner team up to bust a string of bank robberies committed by, you guessed it, surfers, who dress like former American presidents when they're doing their dirty deeds.
We're styling.
However, when Johnny goes undercover, he befriends one of the criminals, played by Patrick Swayze, and the two become star-crossed bros.
It's that place where you lose yourself and you find yourself.
With some memorable action scenes, this movie also became one of Hollywood's best bromance stories.
After you, Alphonse! I insist!
Number 9. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
You are about to have a very bad day.
Although it sounds morally backwards, there are times when bank robberies are badass, and times when they must be stopped.
What was the lottery number last night?
In this case, John McClane has to thwart a bank robbery, and we're on his side.
The wild goose chase is what it is.
When a German terrorist sets off a plan to rob the Federal Reserve, McClane must intervene, not only because of the robbery, but also because of the spree of bad activity he's been on.
Piece of cake. Give us something harder next time.
The third installment of the franchise combined all action movie tropes into one: explosions, robberies, and stunts. Yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Number 8. The Lookout.
That's right, Chris. They're all banks.
This gritty indie flick centers on ex-jock Chris, who suffers a terrible accident that leaves his memory permanently impaired.
Well, no, I can't remember any of it.
Since he has to write everything down just to get through the day, the only kind of job he can get is as a janitor at a local bank.
How many janitors do you not have any kind of power to speak of, huh?
A former classmate approaches him with a business proposition that involves robbing the very bank he works at.
That's the most important job of all. You're the lookout.
Brainy and full of action, this heist flick will have you doubting its characters' decisions until the very end.
I get caught, I'll take my chances. It's like you said, they might not even believe me.
Number 7. Stander.
Fill it up.
What is the difference between a regular Joe robbing a bank and a professional? Well, of course, the professional will be harder to catch. But when he's an ex-cop with insider knowledge, that makes it even more complex.
The court sentences former Captain Andre Stander to 32 years imprisonment.
Based on the true story of a South African police officer turned bank robber, this movie marked a star-turned shift for Thomas Jane.
Andre Stander.
Not again.
Famous for the audaciousness of his crimes, Stander often robbed banks on his lunch breaks, only to return to the scene later as an investigator. Talk about a badass.
Could you tell me exactly what she saw?
You.
Me.
Number 6. Bonnie and Clyde.
You just wait right here and you keep your eyes open.
Although their looks are likely to steal your heart, these two were more interested in stealing whatever was on the bank vault.
Give me the money.
Often hailed as the first film of the new Hollywood era, Bonnie and Clyde resonated with younger audiences everywhere because of the youth and fearlessness of its stars.
You're a knockout.
The movie was based on the real-life titular characters who robbed banks and rural gas stations during the Great Depression.
I don't want no rich man.
With Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway in the leads, it became a cult classic because of its openness about sex and violence. Not to mention that memorable bloodbath ending. Number 5. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Hey, kid, how good are you?
It's impossible to discuss bank robbery movies without throwing in a Western.
1, 2, 3, go!
After being abandoned by the rest of their gang, Butch and the Sundance Kid decide to rob the Union Pacific Overland Flyer on their own.
There ain't what I'd call a fortune in there, Butch.
Well, just so we come out ahead. That's the main thing.
The two are as funny as they are brave, which makes the movie another great bromance story.
I think we lost him. Do you think we lost him?
No.
Neither do I.
Aided by Sundance's girlfriend, the pair is on a successful streak for a while, before everything eventually goes south. They escape to Bolivia, where the movie ends with one of the best shootout scenes in film history. Number 4. Inside Man.
Bank robbery, hostage situation, 20 Exchange Place.
Dalton Russell believes that he has committed the perfect bank robbery.
My name is Dalton Russell. Pay strict attention to what I say because I choose my words carefully and I never repeat myself.
With a group of masked robbers dressed as painters, he is the mastermind behind a complex Manhattan robbery that turns into a hostage situation.
Make sure the hostages are okay.
The entire film represents a conversation between Russell, who is inside the bank, and the detectives outside.
Meet me at the front door.
Things get more mixed up when the chairman of the board hires a fixer to protect the contents of his safety deposit box, which includes some incriminating documents and materials.
The contents of that box are of great value to me.
The movie is a brainy cat and mouse chase that keeps us on the edge of our seats. Number 3. Heat.
Give me all you got! Listen, give me all you got!
Robert De Niro and Al Pacino in a movie where one is running from the other makes us wish they'll run into each other more often.
What do you say I buy you a cup of coffee?
Yeah, sure, let's go.
When a group of robbers leaves a clue after their latest heist, Lieutenant Vincent Hanna is in charge of catching them.
Escaped in under 3 minutes.
After being informed that the feds are onto him, Neil McCauley calls off their next heist. However, he soon decides to commit one final bank robbery worth $12 million in order to go out with a bang. Some of the biggest names of its time are in the cast, and this movie has been hailed as one of the most intelligent crime thrillers ever.
We've been face to face, yeah. But I will not hesitate. Not for a second.
Number 2. The Town.
How many banks have you robbed?
6 trucks, 2 banks.
If you were to judge the world through cinema, Boston seems like a crime-ridden, unpleasant place to live.
Taking down the Cathedral of Boston.
Directed by Bostonian Ben Affleck, the film follows 4 lifelong friends as they rob a bank and try to deal with the consequences of their heist.
Hey, manager, let's go. Get up. Let's go. Get up. Get up. Let's go.
Led by Doug McRae, the gang kidnaps the bank's manager, Claire Kesey.
You're gonna be okay. All right, no one's gonna hurt you.
Torn between his friends and his feelings for Claire, Doug must choose between one last heist and starting a new life forever, far, far away.
Goodbye, Claire.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Grab all the cash and jewels and get the out of here.
What about our gear? Can't leave anything that might incriminate us.
We'll come back for it.
All right! Everybody who wants to live, put your hands in the air!
Okay.
Thank you.
They run a brick and tile company.
Do as you're told and no one will get hurt. Over there, everyone.
Number 1. Dog Day Afternoon.
Nobody move. Get over there.
We hope any future plans you may have made about robbing a bank have now been crushed, as our number 1 pick is an example of a robbery gone terribly wrong. That becomes a media circus instead.
This is Ron Cummins from CBS. Sir, can you tell me what the situation is?
When Sonny, an inexperienced crook, and his friend Sal decide to commit a heist, they have no idea they've come too late in the day.
We're moving right along, folks. We're gonna get this thing done in half an hour.
Losing their nerve, the 2 men find themselves in a bit of a pickle when police and curious crowds begin to surround the bank. The based on a true story movie's anti-establishment tone and great performance by Pacino made it a hit among critics, and our top pick.
I'm robbing a bank because they got money here. That's why I'm robbing it.
Do you agree with our list?
Remember whose idea this was, okay?
What's your favorite bank robbery movie?
Do you have any idea of how much money that is today?
For more top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
We done?